They're not after your phone calls. They want something far more valuable. Your text messages, your two-factor authentication codes.
What if the most dangerous call you'll ever receive sounds completely, perfectly, 100% legitimate? In 2023, Americans lost $10 billion to phone scams, more than any other year on record. Not because they were careless, because the scams stopped being simple. Today's fraudsters wield artificial intelligence, voice cloning software, and military-grade psychological manipulation, all launched from a single phone call. Before you answer your next unknown call, you need to understand exactly how this scam works and the 3 rules that will protect you forever. If you don't want your entire savings gone in the blink of an eye, don't miss this video. The bank call trap. How a 4-minute phone call drains your account dry. The call comes in on a Tuesday afternoon. The caller ID reads Chase Bank. The voice on the other end is unhurried, professional, and genuinely concerned. Mr. Johnson, we've flagged some unusual activity on your account. A $2,400 transfer we want to verify with you before it processes. You didn't make that transfer. Now your stomach drops. And just like that, the trap has been sprung, not on your bank account yet, but on something far more vulnerable. Your emotions. This is the bank call trap, and it is specifically engineered to feel like the opposite of a scam. Here's what makes it so devastatingly effective. The scammer isn't winging it. Every single word of that opening line is calculated. The specific dollar amount makes it feel real. The urgency makes you forget to question anything. And the offer to help you stop the fraud positions them as the good guy before you've even had a chance to think. According to the Federal Trade Commission, consumers reported losing $330 million to imposter scams in 2020 alone, and that number has climbed every single year since. What you're feeling on that call isn't paranoia, it's a psychological ambush. Then this is where the scam takes on an entirely new turn. The caller says, "For your security, I'm sending a 6-digit verification code to your phone right now. Could you please read that back to me so we can confirm your identity?" It sounds like something your real bank would do. It sounds like standard protocol. In fact, it's the only thing they actually need from you, and the moment you read it aloud, it's over. That code is not a security check. It is a password reset code or a 2-factor authentication bypass. The second you recite those 6 digits, the scammer types them into your bank's real login page and gains full authenticated access to your account. No hacking required, no sophisticated breach. Just 6 numbers you handed them voluntarily while they pretended to protect you. In 2015, a retired school teacher in Ohio named Joan got exactly this call. The number showed Fifth Third Bank. The agent knew her full name, her last transaction, and the last 4 digits of her card. She read the code. Within 8 minutes, $14,000, her entire emergency fund, was wired overseas. When she called her real bank, they confirmed no one on their staff had contacted her that day. This is the anatomy of the bank call trap. Bait, the fake fraud alert that triggers your fear. Hook, the verification code request that feels routine. Snap, the moment you comply and hand over total access. The entire sequence is designed to move faster than your rational brain can catch up. By the time doubt creeps in, the damage is done. Here's the critical thing to lock into your memory right now. Your real bank will never call you and ask you to read a code back to them. Ever. Not once. Not under any circumstances. If that request comes from any number, any voice, any institution, you are being robbed in real time. The scariest part? The caller ID said exactly the right thing, and that's a trick I'm going into next. The AI behind the voice, how scammers make themselves sound exactly like your bank. After the call, you hang up feeling relieved. The agent was so calm, so professional, and so thorough. They knew exactly what to say and exactly when to say it. There was not a single moment of hesitation, not one awkward pause, not one red flag. What you didn't know, what nobody tells you until it's too late, is that there was never a human being on that line. You were having a conversation with a machine. And that machine was built for one purpose, to steal from you. This is where the bank call trap gets its teeth. The scam doesn't just rely on a fake number showing up on your screen, it relies on a fake voice that your brain has absolutely no framework to question. Scammers today are deploying AI-generated voices, synthetic audio trained on thousands of hours of real human speech, to power their operations at massive scale. These aren't the robotic, stilted voices you remember from early automated phone systems. These are smooth, warm, and professionally calibrated voices that sound identical to a trained agent at a corporate call center. Your instincts, the very instincts designed to protect you, hear that voice and immediately signal, this is safe. The numbers confirm just how explosive this threat has become. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, AI-assisted phone fraud contributed to a record $12.5 billion in total fraud losses reported by Americans in 2023, the highest single-year figure ever recorded. Behind a significant portion of those losses was not a room full of human scammers, but automated AI voice systems running thousands of simultaneous fraudulent calls around the clock. Here is what makes this particularly dangerous in the context of the bank call trap specifically. The AI voice doesn't just sound professional, it sounds urgent in exactly the right way. It is programmed to mirror the tone and cadence of legitimate bank fraud departments. It knows when to slow down for emphasis. It knows when to inject just enough concern to spike your anxiety without triggering outright panic. And crucially, it knows how to deliver the verification code request, that single make-or-break moment, in a way that feels like the most routine security step in the world. Paired with spoofing, which plants your real bank's number on your caller ID, the AI voice completes the illusion. Your eyes confirm the number, your ears confirm the voice, and the psychological trap snaps shut before your rational mind ever gets a vote. In 2023, a 58-year-old accountant in Texas, someone professionally trained to spot financial irregularities, received a call displaying her credit union's number. The voice was so convincingly human that she stayed on the line for 6 minutes, answered security questions, and read a code aloud. Her credit union later confirmed their fraud team uses a completely different verification process. She lost $6,200 to a system that never had a single human operator involved. The technology is no longer experimental. It is cheap, accessible, and being weaponized against ordinary people every single day. You now know what the trap looks like and exactly what powers it. But scammers don't stop at phone calls, and the next method they use arrives somewhere you least expect it. Smishing, the innocent-looking text message that empties your wallet. You might be going through your day, and this quietly appears in your message inbox, sitting right alongside texts from your family and friends, looking completely harmless. Your USPS package has been delayed. Confirm your delivery address here. Or, Netflix, your payment failed. Update your billing details to avoid suspension. You're expecting a package. You do have a Netflix account, and that's precisely why this works. This attack has a name: smishing. A combination of SMS and phishing, it is the text-based cousin of the bank call trap, and it is growing at a rate that should make every smartphone owner stop and pay attention. According to RoboKiller's 2022 Spam and Robocall report, Americans received 87.8 billion spam texts in 2021, a 58% increase from the previous year, making smishing one of the fastest-growing forms of consumer fraud in the country. The volume alone tells you everything about how profitable these attacks have become for criminals. But here is what separates smishing from a nuisance and makes it genuinely dangerous. The text itself is never the real attack. It is bait, a single line designed to trigger just enough relevance and urgency to make you tap a link without thinking. That link takes you to a counterfeit website built to look pixel perfect like Amazon, your bank, or the USPS. Once there, it asks for your credit card number, your password, or both. The moment you type either, that information is captured instantly and sold or used within hours. Spotting these texts before you click requires knowing exactly what to look for. First, check the sender's number. Legitimate companies like Amazon and FedEx send texts from consistent, registered short codes like 262966, never random 10-digit numbers. Second, hover over or long press any link before tapping. If the URL contains random strings of letters, hyphens, or doesn't match the company's exact official domain, close the message immediately. Third, search the company's name plus official contact number directly on Google and call them to verify. Never use contact details provided inside the suspicious text itself. The trap is already in your pocket. The only question is whether you know it when you see it, because the next trick they use goes after something far more personal than your bank account. Hacking your emotions, the psychological weapon. Scammers use better than any technology. Forget the AI voices, forget the spoofed numbers, forget the fake websites. Those are just tools. The real weapon these criminals wield, the one that makes every single scam in this article work, has nothing to do with technology at all. It lives inside your own head, and they have spent years learning exactly how to use it against you. It is called social engineering, and it is the art of manipulating human emotion to bypass rational thinking entirely. Scammers are not breaking into your bank's systems. They are breaking into your decision-making process, exploiting the same psychological instincts that make you a functioning, trusting human being and turning them into vulnerabilities. The primary instrument they use to do this is devastatingly simple: fear. The moment a caller tells you your money is being stolen right now, something neurological happens. Your amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, fires an alarm. Stress hormones flood your system, and your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational analysis and skepticism, effectively goes offline. According to a 2022 study published in the journal Cyberpsychology, Behavior, and Social Networking, individuals exposed to urgent fear-based messaging made impulsive decisions up to 40% faster than those given neutral information, meaning fear doesn't just cloud your judgment, it accelerates your mistakes. This is not accidental. Scammers engineer the fear response deliberately and precisely. They invent a crisis urgent enough to spike your anxiety, but controlled enough to keep you on the line. Then, and this is the masterstroke, they immediately position themselves as the solution to the very crisis they created. You are scared, they are calm, and your panicked brain instinctively follows the calmest voice in the room. The trap doesn't require your stupidity, it requires your humanity. Margaret, a 71-year-old retired nurse from Florida, described her experience this way: "I knew something felt off, but they said my account would be frozen in 3 minutes if I didn't act. 3 minutes. I stopped thinking and just did what they said." She lost $22,000 in a single call. Her instincts were right, her fear was louder. Understanding that fear is the weapon is your first real defense against it. But knowing the weapon exists is only half the battle. You also need to know the exact moves that shut it down completely. The hang up and verify maneuver. Your immediate action toolkit for suspicious calls. Most people stay on suspicious calls for one reason. They don't know what doing the right thing actually looks like in that moment. They sense something is wrong but freeze, unsure whether hanging up is rude, premature, or even safe. That hesitation is not weakness, it is a gap in preparation. And closing that gap right now, before the call comes, is exactly what this section is for. The instant a call triggers any discomfort whatsoever, execute these steps in exact order. End the call without explanation. No, let me think about it. No, can I call you back? Just disconnect. iPhone users should immediately go to Settings, Arrow Phone, Arrow Silence, Unknown Callers, and toggle it on permanently. This routes all unrecognized numbers directly to voicemail, eliminating the trap before it starts. Android users should open the phone app, tap the three-dot menu, select Settings, Arrow Caller ID and Spam, and enable Filter Spam Calls to activate Google's built-in call screening system. Next, report the number immediately at reportfraud.ftc.gov, the FTC's official fraud reporting portal. This takes under 2 minutes, costs you nothing, and directly feeds the database that telecommunication carriers use to identify and block spoofed numbers nationwide. You are not just protecting yourself. You are closing the loop on a number that may be actively victimizing hundreds of other people simultaneously. Then, verify through official channels only. Flip your physical debit or credit card over and dial the number printed on the back. If the card isn't nearby, open a fresh browser tab, search the institution's name plus official customer service number, navigate directly to their verified domain, and call from there. Screenshot the fraudulent number before blocking it. Law enforcement and your bank's fraud department may need it. If you accidentally stayed on the line longer than you should have, do not panic. Call your bank immediately using the cardback number, explain what happened, and request a temporary account freeze while they investigate. You now know exactly what to do the moment a suspicious call arrives. But there is one specific piece of information that needs its own ironclad rule because it is the only thing standing between a scammer and total access to your account. The last lock on the door, why your 6-digit code should be protected. Before a scammer ever calls you, they have already done their homework. Your email address, your username, and in many cases your actual password are likely already in their possession, purchased for pennies from dark web marketplaces that trade in data stolen from breaches at companies like LinkedIn, Adobe, and Yahoo. The call isn't a phishing expedition, it is the final step of a carefully prepared robbery. And the only thing they still need, the one barrier your bank built specifically to stop unauthorized access, is the 6-digit one-time password sitting in your text messages. That code is called an OTP, and it is the cornerstone of two-factor authentication, or 2FA, a security system that requires a second proof of identity beyond just your password when logging in from an unrecognized device. Your bank generates it, sends it exclusively to your registered phone number, and it expires within 30 to 60 seconds. It cannot be intercepted in transit. It cannot be guessed. The only way a scammer gets it is directly from you, which is precisely why they call. Here is what to do right now before any call ever comes. Open your most used financial apps and search their security settings for the option labeled 2FA method or verification preferences. Switch from SMS-based OTP delivery to an authenticator app, specifically Google Authenticator or Authy, both free and searchable by those exact names in your app store. Authenticator apps generate codes locally on your device rather than sending them via text, making them impossible to intercept or socially engineer over a phone call. Additionally, search Have I Been Pwned, a free, legitimate tool at haveyoubeenpwned.com run by security researcher Troy Hunt, and enter your email address. It will tell you exactly which data breaches already exposed your credentials, so you know precisely which passwords need immediate changing. The code is the last lock. Protect it like your financial life depends on it, because in the most literal sense possible, it does. The family safe word, your defense against AI voice cloning's most terrifying trick. Everything covered so far has prepared you for calls from strangers pretending to be institutions. But what happens when the voice on the other end isn't pretending to be your bank? What happens when it sounds exactly, not approximately, not similarly, but exactly like your grandson, your daughter, your spouse, crying, scared, telling you they're in trouble and desperately need your help right now? This is AI voice cloning, and it is the most emotionally devastating evolution of phone scams in existence. The technology works with terrifying simplicity. A scammer extracts as little as 3 seconds of someone's voice from a publicly posted video, a TikTok, an Instagram reel, a Facebook birthday message, and feeds it into commercially available AI voice cloning software. The output is a synthetic voice model that can say anything in real time that sounds indistinguishable from the real person. The call follows a predictable script. The cloned voice is panicked, emotional, and urgent. There has been an accident. They are in jail. They are stranded. They need money wired immediately and beg you not to tell anyone else in the family. That secrecy request is deliberate. It isolates you from the very people who might talk you out of complying. Your defense is something no AI system can ever defeat: a family safe word. Gather your immediate family in person over a genuine verified call or via a family group chat you know is secure, and agree on a single, nonsensical, memorable phrase. Something with zero logical connection to your lives, like purple saxophone or frozen Tuesday. Write it down somewhere private and offline. The next time a panicked voice calls claiming to be someone you love and begging for money, stay calm and ask one question. What's the safe word? A scammer operating a cloned voice has no possible way of knowing it. The call will end immediately. Set the safe word up today, not after the call comes, because by then it will already be too late. The AI scams are getting worse, but luckily, you are no longer walking into this blind. You now know the exact steps to shut every single one of them down. Have you or someone you know ever received one of these scam calls? Drop your experience in the comments below. Your story could save someone else. If this opened your eyes like this post, share it with your circle and subscribe for more content that keeps you one step ahead of the people trying to take advantage of you.